Hey, everybody, welcome to This Board Game Life. This is episode number 70. This is the show about, or it's titled Bagging It. This is a show about games, board games, anything else we want to talk about, like maybe, I don't know, bags as well. I'm one of your fine hosts for today. I'm Rob. And as always, I got my good buddy Mark with me.
Hey Rob, how you doing?
I'm
Good. I'm
doing
so glad this week is over.
fantastic. Oh, you and me both, man. This
Of
is
course, I don't know if it's actually over yet. I'm still sitting here on standby waiting.
Oh man. Well, hopefully you're not standing on standby. Hopefully you're
I'm sitting
seated.
by. I'm sitting
Okay.
by on standby.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
bad. It's
that's
been a
good.
bad week for vulnerabilities, and it's
Yeah.
ruining my days and my nights.
Well, I haven't been dealing with vulnerabilities, but I have been working till at least midnight almost every night this week.
Oh,
And there was one day that was a 3 o'clocker.
oof.
And yeah. But we don't want to talk about work.
No,
So
we
I
do
know we talk
not.
about all sorts of fun stuff. I'd rather talk about towels than about work
No,
or appliances even.
no, no, no,
But
no, no.
I'd much rather talk about games and what we've
Games.
been playing. So my list is easy. And I told you a little bit about this, I think, last week when it happened. But I got in, there's like an impromptu mini game night that I was going to have with two of my friends. So I brought three games. I'm like, I don't know if we'll get to all three. Well, we didn't get to all three. We didn't get to two of them. We started with the easiest one, and that took all night. So I
Yeah.
brought Havana and
Hufana unana.
yeah, Havana, and then I
Unana.
don't remember what the third one was, but because I'm looking at the bag, but it's like 20 feet away from me and I can't see inside it. But uh, I figured I'm like, let's start with Ganz schon clever, or that's pretty clever. I'm like, let's start with that because one of the guys he's not like a board gamer. I figured it would be a decent game to be introductory. Just some rolling of dice and, it's a roll and write. Fairly simple. And that game took over 2 hours with three people.
Mhm.
It was really interesting. And it was it was kind of funny actually where um, so the other guy that has board game experience, like after like the second round started, he's like, okay, I'm good now, you don't need to explain the rules anymore. And then the third guy is like, think like deer in the headlights, just was not sure what to do anytime, so it just wound up being like the whole game, like all 6 rounds I think we played. Yeah, I think it's 6 rounds with three people. All 6 rounds wound up being like I not really sure what to do, and then me going through and explaining all the options and stuff. But it was really interesting. I didn't think that that game would last that long, especially like when you play it on the app, and each game takes like 5 minutes. But yeah, 2 hours. Actually, it's a little bit over 2 hours.
That's a long
Needless,
time.
needless to say, after that game, like everybody was tired, and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Yeah, but still, it was kind of fun. It was fun. Heck, you know, whenever you're gaming, it's fun. Even if you're
Yeah.
losing, even if it takes a long time and stuff. But yeah, that's all that I got in. How about you? Looks like you got some decent stuff.
I did get in some stuff before um the sky fell out this week on me, but I
Yeah.
did get to play some sea salt and paper. Um Taught that to some people. It's a fun game. I do like it.
Hmm.
It's been received well. I also picked up one called Aviation Tycoon.
Okay.
and I wasn't really sure. I've seen this like at my game store on the used shelf, like, and I keep picking it up, and they have like a new copy that I've seen and I've looked at it, and then they have a used one, and I was like, I just was never quite sure, and then I don't know, I ended up buying a new copy from Miniature Market that was like on like a crazy sale that they always have.
Hmm.
I finally, which I probably still could have paid, got the used copy at my store, probably cheaper without shipping, but I don't know. I just hesitant about buying used copies. You never know what the condition's going to be. So, but
Yeah.
I did get this, did play it, and actually did enjoy it. It actually was kind of fun. I don't. It was better than I expected. I'll put it that way. I really wasn't. I kind of guess I had low expectations, thinking it might be kind of like a Ticket to Ride ripoff, but with airplanes. But
Okay.
you're. It's interesting because you're not. You're laying out. You're buying stock, right? Or you're getting stock. I'm sorry. You're getting like shares of stock in airlines, and there's I want to say four. I think there's five different airlines. So you're basically purchasing shares of stock, and you have some personal goal type of things, and there's these goals that you get, or like a special ability you get every round, but that ability will rotate around to everybody, so everyone basically gets the same ability at some point in the game. So it's not anything like you really have over someone else, because it can be pretty good, but then some everyone else is going to get to use it as well.
Yeah.
um, and you're not What's interesting about it is you're laying out routes, you're moving passengers, but you're trying to move them on routes that will put money into the airlines that you can cash in on later.
Right.
So
So it's
you're
like it's a stock game basically.
it is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
a mix of Ticket to Ride with a stock game, but it's in the airline industry.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
there's times will come out like they have like an event at the beginning of every round, so like maybe there's bad weather and a particular airport is shut down, which can really hose people, because a couple of the guys I was playing with were a little upset because they were both on an airline that went into, like, it was into Atlanta, and Atlanta got shut down, or some airport that they needed to get into, and they couldn't, an entire round they were shut out from
Hmm.
flying people there on their airline, essentially, that they were part owner in. So
Right.
it really played different, um, and I liked it a lot. It was pretty interesting. So I was pleased with it. This is something I'd like to play again. It
Hmm.
was very easy to teach, to learn. Really not a complicated game, but I like the idea that it's you're trying to move people where you could get an advantage, or you're going to gain the most money, because at the end of every round, then the stocks will pay out. And like, if you have the most stocks or most shares in a stock, then you're the president, so like you get bonuses for that. And if there's enough money in there, you can get paid multiple times. But you can if you have shares of everything, you can still get paid by other routes. So people are also putting little planes down, which will also increase the amount of money that that airline gets. The more airplanes that are on a route, the more money people traveling on that particular route get. So there's kind of other, there's a kind of a lot of ways to kind of strategically look at what's happening, what other people are doing, what stock they have in front of them, and yeah, it just creates some interesting play options, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 'cause
uh,
a lot of these, I'll call them transportation games, they tend to have like a stock market kind of aspect to it. Like
okay,
you have shares of companies, or you have an airplane company and you're trying to grow it, or show me the money kind of thing.
yeah,
And you know when they made like Ticket to Ride, they kind of pulled that stuff away, so it's more just about like spreading out your empire or connecting cities and stuff like that.
Right.
But there are ones that do a nice job of blending the two and not have it be like really overwhelming like a lot of the train games are. And then there's a pretty good one. I don't know if you would be interested in it. If you like this, and I know you like Ticket to Ride, but there's Airlines Europe that came out, I don't know, about a little bit over 10 years ago. It's done by Alan Moon, who does Ticket to Ride. Because
Right.
originally he did a game called Airlines, um, that Ticket to Ride kind of grew from, sort of, a little bit. And Airlines Europe kind of goes along that same vein where you put these little cutesy airplanes down on the map, and it's got a very much like a Ticket to Ride looking map, and it's decent. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, you might want to check it out if you ever see it.
Okay. I'll take a peek
Airlines
at that
Europe.
sometime. Another one I tried. So I got in some games on BGA, quite a few. I was sitting here on some long,
Yeah,
long calls, and it's like
yeah. I
you're
wish I
just
could have
sitting there.
joined you in that
Yeah.
one. When I'm working, I can't multitask.
No, well, it's like,
Yeah,
you got the work machine sitting there and you're just
yeah,
listening in and there's nothing for like this sometimes I get on and there's nothing for me to do but just kind of
right.
sit and listen in. So I had some of that this week and I'm like, oh, let me pull up BGA on my personal machine. It's sitting right next to me. So play that while I'm watching and listening in on these calls. But I tried something called Can't Stop Express. Um,
Oh yeah, I got that one.
I did not like that game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just didn't care for that at all. Did play a lot of Welcome to.
but but you do like the big one, right?
I'll get to that.
I mean, can't stop.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
get I'll get to
okay,
the
okay.
main one.
All right, sorry.
So,
Continue.
I also played a lot of Welcome to, and I did that on BGA, which has been fun. I wasn't sure how that would work solo, but it was interesting. I did have fun with it. Played quite a few, just trying to do different things. That's just a fun game. I did pick up, so back to Can't Stop. I did get the original board game, the main
The
game,
OG.
the OG, yeah. And this actually is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, I've played this one with my mother, and she really liked it too. So this has become a favorite of hers as well. It's been great because it's like
Hmm.
I really like, she's going to be like 74 this year, and she's really getting into playing board games, and she likes when I'm bringing games over, and
Yeah.
she's I'll bring
She
like
gets to
this.
see her baby.
Well, I
Yeah.
brought this over, and it's just like, okay, here's something new, and she's like, okay. She doesn't like give me that like, I don't know. She actually did quite a few new ones in the past 2 weeks, which I'll share more about. And she really likes them. So it's just like, it's so much fun to learn a game. And this one we sat down and learned it together. I was just like,
Oh,
I just
nice.
got it. Let's open it up and let's take a look. And I knew that it wasn't going to be something hard
Yeah, it's
because I'd
super
already
light.
like watched the videos, like how to play type things.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, we learned it together and we both took turns winning games and had fun.
So
So,
she let you win, is what you're saying.
oh no, no,
She's a force to be reckoned with.
she is a force to be reckoned with. She likes to win.
Yeah,
So, um, and I always tell her I got to let her win to keep her interested in the hobby. But in
exactly.
reality, she's kicking my butt. Um, so then I also another game. I think I've talked about this before. I know I have, and I think I've mentioned that she also likes this game. Is Draft and Write Records. I have played this solo. It's a lot of fun, even solo. This is probably my favorite solo game that I have played solo. I'm trying to, get into more of these, and this one I really like a lot. I just this is a really fun one for me. I really enjoy it. I introduced it to my gaming group. I don't know if the others liked it. The one comment was I'd play it again, but I just didn't feel like everyone was as interested. But again, it was the first time, so it's always tough when you're playing a game for the first time. People are just learning it, trying to understand how things work. There's a lot of different mechanics or a lot of different nuances in this game and ways to make bonuses. So, trying to
Hmm.
determine what you should do or focus on. We had one new guy in our group who played. He did really poorly on the score, but it was again, it was like I was telling him. I said, "You're." He wasn't. He didn't have a full understanding of what we were supposed to be doing, and so I think he was really focused on. Well, I need to draft my band first. And it's like, well, no, that's not. So again, as I was telling him, I said, well, if you played it again, I said, now that you have an idea, I said you'll definitely move your score up because you kind of get an idea after your first game. What is it you really need to be doing? But every time you play can be different. Like sometimes I'm focused on the band, sometimes I'm focused on, getting the tour bus further down the road, or I'm worried on getting more assets or getting some agenda calendar things done. It depends on the goals that pop up, can really kind of help change the way that you might be working towards different things. So I really like draft and write records. I'll talk more about that later today. But it's a really fun solo game and a group game as well.
I was looking at it the other day, and I haven't watched any videos on it or anything. I was just looking at static pictures of it. It really reminds me kind of like a Ganz Schön Clever on steroids. Is that kind of what it's like? Just you got your different areas that you do different things in,
Well, there's
or
no
is it
dice, so there's
right?
no dice in the game. But
Because it's got
yes,
cards, right?
it is. Yes, you're drawing a hand of cards. Well,
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
save
Okay.
that for
Sure.
later
Yep. No
because I'm
worries.
gonna kind of go into that. So save your questions or ask that again
Yeah.
if you would. We'll talk about that later in the show. Um, I tried Spellbook on BGA because this was one that I keep seeing in the store, and it's like there's something about it that like intrigued me, and I kept putting it down on the shelf. So I was like, oh, it's let me try this, and I'm like, I always feel like, oh, I can learn a game by playing it on BGA. Man, I don't. I think I like BGA a lot, but I really think it's about the worst place to try to learn a game.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
The tutorials, I'm not trying to knock what people are doing because I my hat's off trying to teach and do tutorials for a board game in a digital version as I can't imagine that being easy to do. But I really did not I just couldn't grasp this one. And I was like, okay, I'll try. And they're like, okay, now you know what you need to do. And I'm like, man, I don't get this at all. But I'm playing solo and I just kept getting destroyed. And I'm like, I don't understand this. So I ended up, and I was watching like how to play, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I saw that, and I'll be honest, dude, I bought it. I ended up buying it, but it was a stupid. The game comes with like the little acrylic plastic tiles. It's like it's not an upgrade. It's already in there. I was like, oh man. So, but
What
I
do you
bought
mean?
it like so the little materia there's these little chips right that you
Yeah.
play
Hmm.
they're already like an upgraded acrylic like that's what
Oh,
the game comes
so
with
so it
you don't have to
so it
buy it
so it took away your ability to upgrade it.
but it intrigues me to buy the game because I was like oh it already has
Score.
I'm like that was the thing that like I was watching them play it, kept hearing the little clinking of the little things. I was like, oh no, no, I can't buy a game just because it has nice components. Um,
Sure you
but
can.
it does,
I
and
do it
I
all the
bought it.
time.
I bought it. So I did play it this week with my game group, and the game made a lot more sense playing with people. I did enjoy it. I think everyone really kind of got really enjoyed the game. The one thing that was interesting about it, and one of the guys made a comment about, was that you're not there's not any player interaction with Spellbook.
Okay.
And it is kind of weird because it's like, I
Wait, with
think
what?
with the
Wait,
game
did we move
Spellbook.
on? Oh, we moved on? Okay.
No, I'm still on Spellbook.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So so one of the
I was
comments,
confused. Yes.
yeah, we're still on the same game, Spellbook. But I played it on BGA, and yeah, I was saying that I didn't understand it, but I did buy the game. I did take it and play it this week with my group, so playing with real people, and it was a much better experience. But one of the gamers had said that there's no real player interaction, and it's interesting because, let me look this up real quick. I was gonna have this up, but he was like, "You're not really you're just working towards
You're doing
score.
your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really do anything to like you're like this wizard. So what are
But is that a
they're
bad thing, though?
well, it says you are, let's see, become the greatest wizard by collecting and managing a materia to feed your familiar and learn your spells. Act quickly to use your powers early or wait to unleash them at full strength. So you get this kind of idea like, yeah, I'm going to learn spells. I'm going to be like doing fireballs towards my neighbors.
Going to
And,
be
you know,
Gandalf. Yeah.
yeah. And that's not what this is. Your spells, at least in the initial spells. So we just did like there's three different levels of spell cards. Like, so, I mean, I know I'm jumbling this all, but there's like the starter set that everyone can play. Then you've got like level 2, level 3 type of thing cards that are separate. And then you can like mix and match those. So we started with the recommended beginning deck, if you will. And all of these spells that you learn are basically allowing you to like increase the level of your spell, of one of your spells, or it helps you take materia to that you need to gather to learn spells, and there's nothing that's like attacking a player. It's all just trying to quote learn the spells, which is just a way of saying which level of that spell, because each spell has three levels to it. There's like they call them level 3, 4, and 5. The level 3 is the least amount of victory points. So, and in the spell might be like, oh, trade one materia from the altar, from what you have in your pool, and then the level above it will be like, we'll trade two, and the top one might be like, we'll trade three or something. So it's just a way for you to gather more materia
Hmm.
to boost your spells. And the game ends, and then you have this familiar board. So you have this creature, and you're basically storing materia there. And once that board's full, the game will end. Or if you've learned all 7 of your spells, the game ends. So it's also like a racing game to be the first one to do that, but you also don't want to just like store everything and fill your familiar up and not learn spells, because you're not probably going to have enough points to win the game. So it is interesting that it's like you're just, even though you're playing with 4 other people, you're just sitting there trying to maximize your victory points, your score as best as you can, and your spells are only helping you to
Right.
increase that. You're not really interacting with anyone else. So, but again, maybe there's that ability in the different spells. I haven't looked into what the other sets of spells do. Um, but from what we've played, you're just trying to rack up the points as fast as possible.
Hmm.
So that was kind of an interesting take, and I was like, "Yeah, that's true. We didn't like get to attack each other," which you kind of think if you're this wizard with these spells. I always think of like attacking, and that's not really what this is. So
Yeah.
Moving on, played Planet Unknown on BGA. Did if you ever saw okay, Rob, what if I say big bucks no whammy? Does that mean anything to you?
Yes, it does.
I figured you would
It's
remember
that
that.
dude took all my money.
The whammy.
Yes.
So there was a game show back in the was this 80s or 90s
Yeah.
called
Definitely
Press Your Luck.
90s. Yeah.
And so I saw this board game of Press Your Luck, and it's interactive with like an iPad or a tablet.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
so there's this board and question, talking about kind of cards, but basically, so you have a team and like someone's the host and you're asking other players like they're answering questions and stuff and earning money and different things, and then when they're earning spins, just like in the board in the actual TV game show, and then you use your tablet to for them to run the to do their spins, and it's just like in the game show, just the same sounds. You got the same the sound effects, the whammies will come out and ha ha, and
Yeah.
make
Little
their clever
clips.
little
Yeah.
yes.
The one, like
And
the whammy one liners. Yeah.
yes, and it's so it was pretty fun, and I got this. I
Nice.
was like, I knew my mother would enjoy it because she used to watch that show. She really had a good time with this. So played that one. Um, I also picked up one called Run, Fight, or Die Reloaded.
Okay.
And I got this, I believe this one was on a sale as well for Miniature Market. And it had a 5 to 6 player expansion. And I'm like, oh, this looks kind of good. I picked it up and I played this one solo and quickly found out that the expansion boards are printed incorrectly. Um,
Oh,
there's
really?
a lot of issues with the game, like things missing in the rule sets. Just it's it's really strange. And I was watching another after I got it, I was watching some other videos and playthroughs, and people were talking about some of these issues, and I was like, I kind of wish I'd have known this beforehand. But I remember when I had the board set out, and it's like, oh, place zombies in zones 3 and 2 and 1, and tells you how many, and I'm just like, why is there so many right next to me? And I'm
Yeah.
like looking at the book, and it's like, well, it looks like they're opposite in the book, but it's telling you put them here in zone 1, 2, and 3. And then I looked at the image in the book, and it's like, and I looked at the player board I had, and I'm like, why is zone 1 in the book next to your player board, and zone 3 is furthest away? But on my player board, zone 3 is right next to the player. Like they're completely flipped.
Right.
And then as so after I was okay, I'm like, okay, there's something wrong here. I found one that was printed correctly. And then after I got through the game, I was like, why are some of these boards wrong? And it turns out two of the boards were wrong. And I'm like, and then I went and looked at the expansion box, and that's the way they're showing on the expansion box. I'm like, why would the expansion be completely opposite of the base game? Like they're printed incorrectly. Like this is so dumb because you have things that says go into this zone, but the boards,
Hmm.
if the boards aren't the same, then you're putting them in the wrong place. It's like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so yeah, there's I tried it. It's
I mean,
eh,
that's really interesting to me that like so I mean this game came out like over 10 years ago originally. And so this is like a redone version of it.
right.
It doesn't make sense to me how the redone version has all these mistakes because usually when they redo it, they fix all the mistakes in the first one, not
Yeah.
introduce a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to take a picture and send it to you and show you what I'm talking about, like the differences between the two things. Um, but it's like it's a fun game, but I think it I think it could be fun, but I don't know. My playthrough of it, and again, I just did a solo one, just was not there was too many things that just I don't know. I think were like issues that I was just like, this just doesn't
Right.
make any sense, and why is it this way? And um, too many inconsistencies and issues that
Hmm.
I don't know. I might still try to bring it to a game night and see if we can play and work it out that way, but no, I'll have to show you those boards.
Yeah, it just
And then there
what
was things like in the like I was watching, and even there's pictures of them here. Like there's things like there's this big plastic mutant zombie dude, and it's in the images, and I've seen it in the videos, like this miniature, right, of the main big mutant guy. That thing is not in the game, but other people that are there's a picture of it here, and then I saw a video. Someone had it in their unbox, their playthrough, and I'm going through the rules. I was like, I'm looking and I'm like, it doesn't show it included. It doesn't say anything about this thing. Where is this thing? Like, am I supposed to have it? Um, there's there was oh God, there's a half the rule book is about a campaign, like a solo campaign, and it shows all these things like that are with the campaign, and I'm like, these aren't in my box. How come I don't have these? Turns out that campaign is a purchasable thing that you can buy.
hmm
So I'm like, why is this even in the rule book? It's not included in this game. And it's like, it's this, I'm like, this is ridiculous that someone's trying to go through and learn this game they just bought, and then here's half the rule book is on this solo campaign, but you can't play it because you're missing everything.
Yeah.
You have to purchase it separately. Like, this is, so things like that just really turn, I just, no, I did not like it at all.
Hmm.
Um, well, the one video I was watching, they had a special dice that you were supposed to throw, according to them. I'm looking through the rule book. I'm like, I only have 6 dice. I don't have a seventh dice like they're claiming and they're showing in the video. I'm like, why is this none of this match up? Just a lot of strange things like that. So I don't know if there was multiple printings of the reloaded game and they made changes to it. It
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. But I worked through a level or a version, and I'm just like, yes, I am. I'm even looking at a pictures through BGA on BGG, and here's a picture of 7 dice. I'm like, there 7 dice don't come in the game, only 6. Like, where are these extra dice coming from? It's
Yeah.
just, there's too many strange things about it. So, um, I really don't know what to think about it, but it's kind of a
Yeah.
disappointment.
Yeah. I was just looking on BGG, and they're talking about how when the game first came out, they printed out stickers that you could get from them to fix the board. Then they eventually had replacement boards, but it looks like they might be out of them. But if you contact them, contact their customer service, they should be able to take care of it from what they're saying on here.
Stickers to fix the boards. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I
it
will. I just
happens.
don't know if it'll be worth it, but
Yeah.
I might have to just do that and see what they say. So, all right. Anyways, so another game I introduced my mother to is Jaipur, and dude, she slaughtered me. I was like, "What the?" I didn't get any token. I didn't win a single token. She won every game. I was like, "This is terrible." So, of course, she liked the game. She's like, "This is great." And I'm like, "Uh huh." Um, Played some Super Mega Lucky Box, like that game a lot. I did also played some more Point Salad, and then a new one that I've never played is Uno Show 'em No Mercy. We busted this out, just kind of a quick ender to the night the other night,
Okay.
and I've never played the Show 'em No Mercy version. Man, that's fun, dude. I had so much fun. That's like I can't remember ever having this much fun in a Uno game, and it was a lot of fun. So you get to some of the differences are they have a card that allows you to, like, if you have, you can like discard all of one color in your hand with the one card. You can, they have up to like a wild card draw 10, but in this game you can stack all of the draw cards, so draw 2, draw 4, draw 6, draw 10s. You can keep stacking them going around and it keeps adding up. I made someone draw 16 cards the other night and
Oh
it took
wow.
him out of the game, because you can't have your hand maximum is 25 cards. So if you end up with 25 cards, you're out of the game. So the point is basically be the last person alive.
Hmm.
And took a couple people out that way. So it was they still have the reverses, the skips, things like that. But then there's
Yeah.
like cards like if you play a 0, I think a 7 you swap hands with somebody, I think, and then there was something with like a 0 does something. Can't remember what it did, but um, I ended up winning the game because it's down to two of us, and I had a bunch of cards in my hand. I got stuck on just drawing, 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 and the other guy only had like three cards. And then he played, I think he played the 0 or the 7, and had to swap hands. So I ended up with his three cards, and I ended up going out and winning. So, but it's a real chaotic version of Uno.
Hmm.
Really liked it. It's one I'm like, I might have to pick this up if I see it in the store. So
Yeah, it's interesting to me that they're finally coming out with good versions of it because there were so
Uno
many
was
like
always a
meh.
good
Yeah,
game,
I mean it's okay.
but it's been around so long that it's like,
It's played
you need
out.
something new, right? This
And
like
yeah, and
breathes
little
new life
Billy
into
from down the street, he ruined it like
it.
30, 40 years ago and it's never the same.
Yeah.
But like
Well,
so I mean it's cool that this is a good version. Then Uno Ultimate, like the Marvel Legendary version
yeah.
of Uno,
Which
that's actually pretty good too. I like
I
that
cannot
one.
figure that out.
No?
I can't. I'm like, I've sat down, I've tried to look at the rules. I'm like, it's one of those for some reason just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I need to just sit down and go, okay, I'm just gonna, all right, let's pretend I'm playing with someone and just follow the rules, like, and do like a two-player game. And
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
you play
that's
both
probably the best way.
sides. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used to do all the time.
So, but that's what I've played in the
Cool.
last couple weeks. So,
That's a good amount of gaming for sure. And then you know, I heard that
where am I gonna put it all?
there's some huge news. Something finally arrived. What could it be?
Huge news, bigger than I expected it to be. Let me put it
Oh,
that way.
really?
My bag, my gaming bag, finally showed up. Like what, 2 years later? I guess. Okay, I don't think it's been that long because I've only been in the hobby like a year and a half, but it's was like due. Like I got into this and it was due out like it was supposed to be here like last summer.
Yeah.
So it's basically almost a year late,
Kept
which I
getting
guess for,
extended again and again, right?
yeah, and I guess for Kickstarter, GameFound, whatever, it's not unheard of, right? But this was something like I've been really wanting, and my little bag that I had from Gen Con finally just ripped. So I got to use it this week. It showed up, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. So I took it with me Wednesday. I'm gonna say there's one downside to this bag, in that it's so big
It's like it's
because it's
like you're
so freaking
curly,
heavy.
like you're curly from the Three Stooges carrying the refrigerator on your back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I opted for the backpack straps, which is probably a good, but I think I might end up trying to go a different route because this thing holds 7 standard games. So imagine just putting 7 standard size games in your bag and how heavy that right there is going to be.
Yeah.
Then
Hmm.
it also has pouches, pockets, other things. So not only can you carry like 7 standard size games, there's rooms for all these like small card games, dice games, pens, and all these other things that you might take with you. And at first, I was like, all right, I had to take some games out. I'm like, this thing's just too big and heavy. Like the bag is very durable and stuff, but and I love the bag. It's just really, really nice. And Rob, I did you get the chance to see the video I sent you?
Yes.
of it. So
Mhm.
okay, so obviously we're in an audio podcast. People can't see this, but what were your thoughts when you saw the video that I sent you of what it holds and how big the bag is?
I mean, I've seen similar bags in person before. I've never seen that particular one,
Okay.
and I was expecting it to be like, you know, Curly carrying a refrigerator on his back, because you see it at Gen Con every once in a while, people walking around with those things, and you're like, holy smokes, that's like a huge rectangular cube or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think about the weight of it ever.
It's heavy. In fact, I was kind of surprised because during the campaign they kept talking about upgrading some of the metal and the clips, and I I opted to buy the backpack straps, and I kind of felt when I was picking them up, I'm like, man, I'm a little worried about the little connectors and are these strong enough because this bag is so heavy. Um, but yeah, it completely takes up your back. I mean, it's
Yeah.
from the top of my shoulders to the top of my buttocks, right? You got this
Hmm.
huge bag, and it'll knock the. You got to be careful walking around with this thing because,
I
like,
was just gonna say, yeah.
even in the store, as I was trying to go through the store, I was like, I really can't walk through the store with this bag because you're going to turn to see something, you're going to knock someone out or knock a shelf over.
Oh yeah.
So, but I love the ability that I can put. I'm probably gonna just maybe pack like 3 or 4 games max, and then I'll have all the small stuff in there and just leave it like that. And probably switch out to the main. It comes with a couple of straps. I'm probably gonna switch to like this one big shoulder strap, so you can kind of carry it on your side, and maybe I can pull it over my head to the
Hmm.
other shoulder and have the bag hang off the other side. That might be the best way to
Yeah.
carry this thing, but
The
it's
the one
it's
thing I
nice.
do have to say though is that your bag looks better from the standpoint of I've seen ones that are literally a like rectangular cube, or is that a thing? They
Yeah,
have corners. You know what I mean?
right.
Yours looked more rounded.
They
It
are.
looked more sleek, I guess is maybe one way to put it. It just looks much better overall compared to bags that I've seen in the past.
Yeah, the quality of this thing is incredible. I got to give, and the people that made this, I think it's Crafting Kingdoms. I do want to give them out because I've talked so bad about the delay of this for so long, but it is Crafting Kingdoms that made this. I am very happy with this. Again, my only downside is it's so big that if
Right.
you pack it full, you're just yeah, you're gonna get you're gonna have struggle carrying the thing. It's just really heavy if you fill it.
So
But
if you only put in, let's say, like 3 or 4 games, we'll use like Ticket to Ride size boxes.
uh-huh.
Is Does the top like compress down at all, or does it still hold its shape and it's still the same size, just empty on the top?
It won't it's soft. It's a soft bag, so there's not like a rigid shell. So it can compress down, but it depends on how you're carrying it. As to how so if I'm carrying it like in a backpack, the top of it won't, it'll probably just fall down and slump
Hmm.
down a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
not rigid at all. It's a soft bag, but it's very thick. It's an incredible quality. There's even these dividers that you can put in to almost kind of create like a shelf, like a dividers in the main bag.
Oh, like
Um,
Velcro on the sides
yeah,
divider kind of
exactly.
thing? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sticks to the side of the bag.
Hmm.
There's things like that in it. And so, I mean, I don't know if what the need for that is, but they gave you a bunch of those. But it's just really nice. And so I'm just going to use it for a bit, get used to maybe I won't carry him standing up. Maybe I'll sit him in there and carry it like on, because you can carry it like a backpack so they stand up like you saw in the picture of the video I sent you. There's also a handle that allows you to keep it in that, I guess, what the vertical
Right.
alignment, and then throw the bag over your shoulder. Then there's also straps that came with that allow you to basically like lay it on its side, more of like a cooler, I guess.
Okay.
So think of it like a cooler, and then I could put the games, just like lay them in there
Sure.
flat, and then carry it like a duffel bag style, like, and it has a hand grip, so I could carry it with like my hand, like a big, like a giant duffel bag. So I think I'll probably work with a couple different ways. See, maybe next time I'll still try. I'll take the backpack straps off, put the shoulder strap on, carry it that way, and then maybe the week after that I'll try it like the cooler style with
Right.
the handle, and just see, maybe it's better to, but there's definitely variety and options with this bag. They've got things on here ties. So like if you've got play mats, you can put them in these. There's these, I don't know what they're, tie downs essentially on the side of the bag that are specific for things like, for like play mats. Like it's got the little I don't know what to call it. It's like this little button clasp that you push it in, and then you can like make it bigger so that you can put your map in, and then you just pull the string out and move that little clasp closer to your mat to shrink the size of the strings. But you can, I don't know, you can carry play mats on here and basically have them attached to the bag.
Okay.
um, and it's on the outside, so it's like if it's a really big playmat that wouldn't fit inside, you can attach it on the outside. It's just, they really did think of a lot of things with this bag, so I'm very happy with it. Um, I, like I said, if this thing, if I had any desire for it to change, I would like it smaller, because when I got all this space, I was like, I want to load it up, and then it's just
Right.
so heavy. But like, if you're going on, like, say you're going on a vacation somewhere, like say a road trip, right? And you're going to go to the beach for a week or something and have a condo, man, you can fill this sucker up with games, and you can leave them in this bag, because the zippered part will roll down, and then it's got this little strap so you can roll it up and keep it and hook it, so that it
Okay.
just sits open, and there you go. You don't even have to, like, it's just, they're there. So like if you're going to take a road trip, man, this is like a portable gaming closet. And you they do have options to like buy a dolly, like this little dolly thing that the thing can sit on those wheels, and it has a handle. And I didn't
Oh
opt
yeah.
for
Mhm.
that. I probably should have. That was like the one thing I didn't pay for. But I'm like, I probably should have, is if I'm gonna load this sucker up. But where I go, we're at the store I go to, I have to walk downstairs. So I'm like, I gotta pick it up anyways. So,
Yeah.
but then also out of that, I also got a playmat, which is kind of sad at the moment, because I bought it for my kitchen table and it's like perfect. But now I've just built a gaming room, and I put a table in there, and I didn't buy a gaming table. I just, I'm sorry, 3,500 to 5 grand for a gaming table is just like, I bought an actual 6 player table with with 4 chairs and a bench for like $425 brand new. And it's a comfortable one. It's a nice, really nice table. It's the one I that my mother has at her house, and I remember putting that together for her, and I was like, "This is a really nice table." And so I went and bought that one for my gaming room. So I'm like, "We play at this all the time, and it's just fine." And it's just, the gaming mat is just like 2 inches too wide and too long for this table.
Oh,
And I was like,
okay.
oh man, it would have been great. As I actually, I'm like, I'm gonna throw it on here anyways and see what it's like. But I'm like, no, it's just too big. It's like crap. This would have been a beautiful one if it was just a smidge smaller. But
So
the
now you
gaming
have to
mat
order
is real
another one.
nice.
You have to order another
Yeah,
gaming
well,
mat specific for that table. There you go.
exactly. But unfortunately, I can't get it from them because they don't, their sizing. I want to have to find something I can customize, I think, right to the size of the table. I seem to have a weird, I don't know. Based on the ones that they have, they don't have anything that really works very well with the size table I have.
Right.
But the it's actually a beautiful playmat. I didn't realize. I thought I just bought a regular playmat. I could have swore that's all I bought, but I got one. In fact, I should look. I've got my pledge here. I guess I bought a one with an LED light around the edge of it, and
How
because
does it
that's what
get
they sent
power?
me.
Does it have a cord coming off
It
one side of it?
Yeah, it has a like a micro USB cable. So there's a little black box on one end that's like attached to the playmat. And you plug this cord in, and it's just got a single button, and you press the button to turn it on. You can just keep pressing the button to cycle the colors,
Yep.
and then that's pretty much it. But I was gonna look at this because I do not. I swear I did not buy an LED one. Yeah, I did not. I'm looking at my order. I did not order an LED. I just ordered a plain black mat, and the one they sent me has LEDs on it.
Oh, bonus.
So I guess I got that for maybe that was the bonus for having to wait so long. Yeah, this thing was due out May of 2023 was when I was supposed to get this, and I got it
That's
in
almost a year ago.
April of 24. So
Yeah.
yeah, a year late. Um, but hey, I got an LED lit playmat out of the
Hey,
deal
there you go.
because those did cost more. I know they were costing more, and I was like, well, I don't really need that because yeah, these things. I think I got the 42 by 66 was what I ordered, and so the 42 by 66 playmat that I ordered was $69. The one they sent me was $84. So not a big difference in price, but you know, I they did upgrade me, whether by mistake or just being nice. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's really nice mat. I wished I'd like, oh, too bad I didn't. My table wasn't as a scotch bigger, or that this mat was just a little bit smaller, but because I'd love to have it. But it looks so nice. And again, so when I have like a bigger gaming group, if I have more than 6 people, I'll still play upstairs, and then I'll just pull the mat out upstairs on my kitchen table, so like it was intended. All right. But yeah, I'm just really stoked. I finally got this bag and I can use it, and it's amazing quality. So
Very nice.
I guess in the end, I guess gotta be thankful for the changes they made, and you know, sucks that it took so long, but in the end, I got a really great quality bag that I'm really happy with. So thank you, Crafting Kingdom.
Very nice.
So before I go into my review of Draft and Write Records, Rob, I'm curious. Do you? So I know you've been in game groups in the past.
Oh yeah.
Do you find that the gaming people do more board gaming in the wintertime than they do in the summertime, or do you think the gaming stays pretty much like the? I guess what I'm questioning is it feels like ever since spring hit out here in the Pacific Northwest, the amount of people showing up our game groups has drastically dropped.
Yeah. I'd say that's normal. It's there's various times of the year that people are just really busy, right? They're out doing stuff, they're traveling, holidays, whatever it is. So you do get dips. But then, after a couple weeks it does come back. But I I I do recall specifically in the one game group that I was part of, pretty regularly. During the summertime, there was less people. It was noticeably less. And then, as the weather got kind of crummier or whatever, then it started to pick up again. Because believe it or not, people have lives other than board games. I don't know what's wrong with them, but
They don't have
it's
any
it's
lives.
crazy.
No, it's board games or bust.
No, and then the other thing too is that like usually the game groups that I would go to, we would start in the evenings and then play late. It, we get there like starting at like 6 or 7 or something like that. And in the
Right.
summertime in particular, like I don't know how late it stays light up by you over there, but over here by me, it's at least almost till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm a little south of you, so I think in the scheme of things, so maybe you get darker earlier. I don't know, but
No,
yeah.
I mean, out in the summertime, like in the dead of summer, man, we can be 10 o'clock at night and still have light in
Oh
the
wow.
sky.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So as people are out longer, that cuts into gaming time and barbecues and
it's just
all
so
that other
wrong.
stuff. Yeah. So you got a game and BBQ.
We
Do it
can we can
together.
game outside. I'm not opposed to that.
I have done that. The wind is a something. and, and actually the craziest place I've ever played a board game in the summer actually was on a boat. I tried to play Innovation by Carl Chedik on a boat. That we did play the game, but that was really challenging. 'Cause waves were making the boat rock, cards were moving all over the place, and the wind was there. Yeah, I don't recommend it, but it is possible.
Yeah, it's got to be a real nice windless day.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, I do notice it, and so I would expect that that would be starting to spin up here pretty soon.
yeah, here it's already begun. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but what a bummer. That's okay. We get it gives me the good thing about it is when you don't have 16 people showing up and you have four, now you can play those four-player games you couldn't play during the wintertime
yes,
when you had too many people and you were busting it out. You were breaking everybody up into like 5 and 6 player games. So I'm just going to start packing some four-player games for the summertime. So
there
I
you
guess
go.
it's not all bad.
Hmm.
So, all right. Um, did you have anything that you want to talk about before I jumped into my review of Draft and Write Records?
No, no, I want to hear your review because I just
All
ordered it
right.
on Amazon.
Nice. I'm really curious to see what you think of it but I think you're really going to like it. So, I mean, if you've played games like Welcome to
Yeah,
um and oh, I can't turn around and look at my games anymore because they're not in my office anymore. They're on the other side of that
they
wall.
they will be soon. They'll be
Welcome
back.
to no, they won't
Yeah, they
because they go in
will.
my game room.
You're gonna run out of room in your game room. They'll be back in your
No.
office.
Oh, what is that?
Okay,
The London and the Tokyo games.
April, April 19th, 9:56. You said no. I'm circling this day on the calendar, and I'm gonna say, I remember you said you weren't gonna do that right here
No
on this day.
receipts. No receipts, Rob. No
Episode
receipts.
70. Episode 70. Forever immortalized. They'll be back. Yes. Anyway.
So, was it Last Station Tokyo, Last Station London, I think?
Yep. Yep. Mhm.
So if you're familiar with those, you're familiar with Welcome to Your Neighborhood or Welcome to New Las Vegas. They're, I'd say, a combination of kind of those. You've got the color pencils from the Last Station games. You've got the cards from both, and you're more of like Welcome to. You've got this kind of big sheet that you're both gonna track what you're doing and your score all on that same sheet. And basically, uh, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like trying to merge those two. But so the game that we're talking about is Draft and Write Records. This was released in 2023 by Inside Up Games. This is designed by Bruno Maciel. Maciel. It is a 1 to 6 player game. The playtime, they're listed as 30 to 60 minutes, and I'd say that's very accurate. Ages 10 and up, which is, yeah, probably right on the money. It's the type of game is listed at, well, I wrote it in as like a flip and write, but it's not a flip and write. It's a, well, it's called draft and write records. That's what it is draft and write is the type of game. It is a
Sure.
card game. It is the style is it's set collections, open drafting, pattern building, grid covering. Those are some of the types of things that you're going to do in the game. The kind of their little tagline is, "Do you have what it takes to hit the big time? Can you take your band from performing in your parents' basement to the largest stages around the world? Draft your lead singer, musicians, productions, and backstage staff. Arrange them in the most harmonious ways to unlock more fans, money, and opportunities. Plan your schedule, prioritize your assets, and select your travel route as you grow. Chain your rewards into such an amazing show, you will leave your competitors behind. But as every superstar knows, watch out for those scandals." So, and the interesting thing is like everything they just said is in this game. So they did a really good job of like describing this game from a, you know, uh, quick rundown type of whatever, a marketing standpoint. The box is about a medium sized. It's about as about half the size of your standard size box. I mean, it's tall but not as wide. Um, it's colorblind friendly. Um, that's a good question. I wrote yes. However, there are four different colors of colored colors that you're going to use in this game with colored pencils. And I think a lot of colorblind, I think there's like a red green, but I know there's more than one type of colorblind.
Yep.
Um, so this game has blue, purple, yellow, and red colored pencils. The Yeah, I guess it is
So
colorblind. It is friendly because there are shapes for the colors.
yeah.
So each color has a specific shape as well. So that when you're looking at the card, um, you'll know which color to use. Um, I guess that helps, but I don't know, like, because I'm not colorblind. I don't know, how does that translate, Rob, if you've got to pick out the correct color pencil?
So
Because it's like,
it just depends on the color selection. Like most people are, I would say red green, but there are other type of color blindness types.
okay,
And I know I have the red green issue myself. However, there was a huge problem with Quirkle. You played Quirkle, right?
yep,
Yeah, the blue and the purple were like a huge issue for me for some reason. Maybe because of the redness in the purple, because what purple is red and blue, I think.
yeah,
Yeah. It was so bad in that we actually put little dots. We took a Sharpie and then put a little dot on the purple ones just so I could decipher which is which without having
um,
to like study and compare. Um, but yeah, it really depends on selection and the basically it's kind of like in the original Castles of Burgundy, like those colors are all close and you kind of struggle with it a little
yeah,
bit. I don't
yep,
remember if you played it, but the original version or not. But
I did.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
played. I
At Gen
played.
Con,
Yeah,
yeah, at Gen Con we had that. So it's like when you're looking at them and you're like, I have no idea which color that is. Is it this one or is it that one? That's what it's like to be colorblind. But it's like all the time.
yeah.
It makes
So
going through intersections really interesting. By the way, never mind. Just close your
it's
eyes, hit the gas.
yeah. So it's friendly in the fact that the colors on the cards, each color has its own shape,
Yeah, that's what
so
they
that you
do
can learn
to
that.
help people
However,
decipher. Yeah.
yeah, the color pencils, those shapes don't exist on the pencils. So um, I guess there could be a disconnect there. So I would say maybe on colorblind
Okay.
friendly.
Well, I'll let you know.
Okay,
I'll let you know next show.
there's there's uh there's nothing to punch out in this game. Sorry. So if you like to punch cardboard, there is none of that. There I don't know if it's insert sleeve friendly. I think you could. I well, you could you could sleeve all the cards. There is a lot of space in there. I haven't sleeved them myself, but there is a lot of space, and I think that would probably be friendly. I should do that. I've got a bunch of sleeves. I should see if they're the right size and sleeve this game and let everybody know. But I believe just the way what fits in the box, that looks like there's a lot of room to be sleeving friendly.
Sure.
The rules, there's a 12-page rule book. It's very easy to read. It has lots of good examples. It's very colorful. The artwork in this game is really nice. It's got a really nice design. Um, and I would say there's nothing special about the components of the game. It is, I will say one thing that's odd is it's a 6-player game. You can play up to 6. They give you 6 short regular pencils, and then they give you only 8 total colored pencils, 2 of each color. So I had to go and, if you want 6 people, you're either going to share colored pencils or you're going to have to go add a bunch of your own, which is what I did. I added, so I got like 6 purple color pencils, 6 yellow, and they did leave room in the storage little section for the colored pencils to fit. What is that? 36 colored pencils in the game. So there is room in there, which is nice. They thought of that, but they only give you 2 of each color.
Right.
Um, all right. So yeah, it's like I talked about the rule book. So going into the game is you are you'll do anywhere from about 5. They said like 6 rounds would be the max. You're typically going to end on 5 rounds. I think yesterday or Wednesday when we played, I think we ended the game in the 4th round. Um, but it depends on what you're drafting, how people are drafting. So you basically, everyone gets 5 cards to start, and you get 5 cards in your hand, and you're going to draft one of those cards, whether it's a bandmate, whether it's a tour, whether you are getting, no, I'm sorry, not a tour. It's a bandmate, an agenda item, or an asset. Would be what's in these in your hand, and you will select one of the 5, and then you will mark down on your sheet basically whatever you took, and then that card sits face up next to your board or to your sheet. Then you hand those 4 cards to the next, in a more than a 2-player game, you've got this card, and at the end of every round the direction will flip, but you'll start by handing them, to the player to your left. So now you get 4 different cards from the player to your left, and you're selecting from there. And you'll keep doing this. You'll keep drafting a card until you end up with 2 cards in your hand. When everybody's down to the 2 cards in their hand, they draft one of them and they discard the other one face down next to their sheet. And then that basically will complete round 1. And in well, almost it completes the phase called the week. And then you've tracked all the things you've drafted, and then any bonuses that you may have gotten from the cards you drafted, you're doing those as you're marking down what you drafted. So if you've played Super Mega Lucky Box, or Welcome to, like, you're like, okay, I built this house. Oh, I also got the pool in the back, so you're triggering that, and you're marking those down, and maybe took a park or so. I don't know. Just your Super Mega Lucky Box is a really good example because you can chain things. And sometimes you're, instead of just writing one number down, I'm writing this. Oh, I'm getting a moon. Oh, I got also a star. Oh, this one gave me another number, so I'm putting a 4 on another card. Oh, this completed a row or column. So you can sometimes be doing 4 or 5 things on your one turn. So once all those are done, everybody's picked their last 2 cards, then you go into what they call the weekend, and that's where there's these 4 bonus cards that are sitting out there, and then you go through, and the bonus cards, which are nice, are friendly. The ones that are sitting out in front of everybody, and you go through each one of the 4, and you just see, hey, did anyone meet this goal? If they did, they score the bonus points, and then any additional things, like one might say, "Oh, cross out a money restriction, or take a advance on your tour, or check off an asset or something," and then you can go and do those things. If multiple people complete the same goal, they all get the same bonuses, which is nice. Now we also have a personal goal that we got two goals dealt out to you at the beginning of the game. You kept one, and one. This is on the weekend is when you can basically cash that in, so to speak, and get the bonuses and things from that personal goal. Any ones that are out public goals, they're replaced. Those will not count until the next end of the next round. But you go through those four, replace any that are used, and then you go back into the week. And then you'll switch direction. Everyone gets 5 cards again, and you start over, and you start again drafting bandmates, assets, or um, agenda items and whatnot, and you just kind of continue through the game that way. What will end the game is if once someone hires all their bandmates. So there's, I think, 11 total. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like somewhere around, I think it's between 10 and 12 bandmates total. So yeah, about 11. If someone hires them all, that ends the game immediately. Um, if someone There's also fails. So if you have cards in your hand that someone gave you and you can't use anything that's there, you still have to draft. So like there's only one lead singer. So if you've already drafted your lead singer and you're at the end of a round and the two cards left in your hand are lead singers both, you discard one and you have to take the one. But then instead of marking it off on your thing, you have to go up and mark a fail. So if someone fills in all the fails, that will end a game. If someone fills all the bonuses, that will end the game. Or once someone has filled in all their band roster, and then basically you're just going down and scoring the points that you've done for each of the different categories and sections in the game. So it's there's a lot when you first start. It feels like there's a lot, can be a little overwhelming, but basically once you go through like a single game, you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting this, how this interacts with that, and how if I get this column, I get these bonuses, and you take them immediately, unless it's victory points. You just kind of circle it, and then you get those at the end of the game, and it's very easy to score up everything, and basically and then you minus any fail points that you might have. Those all have negative victory point values. So like the first one would be like -2 points, and it gets up to like -21 points. So the more fails you have, the more points you're going to lose at the end. Um, and it's just fun when you now the thing about the color pencils when you're drafting bandmates. So there's a couple things to look at on your bandmates. So at the very beginning of the game, you're going to pick one of the colors, and there's like a little two little bubbles above the lead singer, and you will pick any color and randomly they'll tell you which bubble you fill in. Always, you just
Okay.
fill in this color, right? So you don't have any cards yet. You're just randomly picking a color. So now what you're trying to do is when you get a bandmate. So say I pulled the lead singer out, and say I picked purple as my color at the top. So now I want a lead singer that has a high skill point, which will be a number on their card, like 1 to 5, and those are basically how many victory points that person is worth. And then to the all around that number will be 4 different colors. And then on your sheet, you're going to write the 5 in the middle box, and you're going to see 4 circles, top, bottom, left, and right of that number. And you're going to color in the colors that are on the card. So I could take him as a 5, but if his top color on his card is blue, red, or yellow, then I'm not going to get a harmony with that purple that I took a guess on at the top. If his top color is a purple, then I'm going to circle in that's that little circle, and now I'm going to fill in basically color between the two purple circles, and that's a harmony. And then so now that I have that harmony, and then if and now I've also got, say he was purple at the top, yellow on the left, red on the right, and blue on the bottom. So you color those in. Now those other circles will have lines going to other bandmates. So if you can line up those colors as well, you continue to make harmony throughout your band. And then by doing harmonies, you go beneath the band section. There's the harmony section of the sheet, and that's where you're getting to like, oh, I can check this bonus. And if like you get all of the purple harmonies, you're going to get a score bonus at the end. All the reds and all the different colors, and then same with the columns. If you're getting up and down, you're completing those. You're getting more victory points and stuff. So that's another part of the game you're trying to do is get harmonies. So you might end up like taking a lower, maybe it's like, well, he's a 4 or 5 points, but I'm not, he doesn't really line up with my harmonies. So maybe I'll pass and hope to get someone else that, because it's like, do I want the victory points or do I want to try to build on the bonuses, because you can really get some things chaining that can be very powerful. So it's interesting. And that's another thing that'll make every game different. The game I ended up winning the other day was like I didn't even focus the on the first round. I had no bandmates at all. But I ended up. Well, I don't. I didn't. I don't think I won that game actually. No, I did. Yeah, I did win it. I did win. But I didn't even. So the very first round, I didn't even take bandmates. I was like focusing on working on assets and trying to get some goals done and trying to get some bonuses going. And but later on, I ended up completing my bandmates before anyone else did, which ended the game. So yeah, you can play it, and that was the first time I ever did that. I was like, man, I went a whole round and I didn't hire a single bandmate. So it's like, okay, we'll see how this turns out. But so there's a lot of different ways you can play, which is fun, and it can be different every single time you play. Um, and that's I think that's what makes it fun. There's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
a lot of options. I don't have any like negatives to say on the game. I oh so I do. I guess I'll put one out there. The color pencils, the yellow color pencils that came with the game, I had to replace because they were so light that like you'd circle it in and you're like, I can't even see that I've colored that in. They were terrible. Like they needed, I had to replace them with like gold, like or a really dark
Hmm.
yellow color pencil. So it's like now I can circle. It's like, oh yeah, now I can see that. So that's my one con. Their yellow color pencils are terrible. You're gonna want to replace those with darker ones. But
Is it the
that's it.
paper that they're writing on, or is it just
No,
them in
it's the color
general?
pencils
Okay.
very light pale yellow.
Yeah.
You'll see when you get it.
Yeah. No, because
So
sometimes it's the surface that it writes on that affects how well it transfers,
no, that's just
like
normal
the
paper.
color. Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
and maybe my thoughts were okay. It's the lighting, maybe it was the lighting, but no. Ever since I've swapped them out, I've had no problems. Their other pencils were fine. It's just the yellows were
Right.
way too light. It's like you needed a darker so that you can see you filled in the little bubbles. So
Hmm.
that's it. Like that's it. That's a very simple fix. So um, game is really fun. I definitely enjoy this. Everyone now, like I said, my gaming group. I was kind of like at the end of it. I was like, okay, I'm thinking this is not a winner, and all what I heard was, no, I'd play it again. You know, but I
Yeah.
think it was more of like I'm still trying to figure this. They were still thinking about it. So I don't know. I may not take it unless someone asks me. But like, my family and stuff that have played it, we all really enjoy it. So I would recommend this, and I am, and I have, and I'm curious to know what you think of it.
It's like sold.
Um,
I'm going to get it.
yeah, I think it's a winner.
Yeah.
It's again good for all. It's there is strategy to it on when you're like, okay, I could go here and get this bonus, but if I go over here and I take this, if I draft this card, I might, oh, I can chain this. Maybe I'll get two bonuses. And so you're like, do I want these two bonuses or do I want this one bandmate who gives me more victory points? So yeah, a lot of different options in the game. super fun.
Very cool. So yeah, I'll have to see. And maybe I should get
Yeah.
my replacement pencils like right now.
So I went out and bought the 16 pack of Crayola colored pencils. And I believe that pack comes with like two different yellow pencils in it. And both of those probably would be dark enough to replace the ones in the game. So,
Okay.
but try it. I'm curious what you think of the ones that came packed. Mine were just super light.
Okay.
It's like, no, I want to just sit here and know that I've colored that in. So yeah, that's it. That's what I got for us this week.
Cool. Awesome. I think that's it.
All right.
That's it for episode 70. Bagging it finally 2 years later.
Yes.
The bag is in the bag.
It's in the bag.
So already, yeah.
I'll have to put that bag on and have one of the kids take a picture of me with the bag on me. So then you
Mhm.
can really see how big it is. I'm a big guy, and it's if
Or
I can hide behind this bag,
yeah,
which I
or I can
probably
say
will
like,
disappear behind
oh
it.
man, that bag looks tiny. I don't know what you're saying.
And then I turn around,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Where'd Mark go?"
Yeah,
All
exactly.
I see is this bag standing there with
I see
legs.
this refrigerator. I'll call you Curly while you're
Yeah.
wearing it.
Yeah.
So awesome. Okay, so that's a wrap for episode 70. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you all next time on episode 71.
We'll see you at the table.